the destination or jobs in the SEC where I think the fan base should be okay if people are coming after their coach. Because if they're coming after their coach, that means they've done well. You talked about Ole Miss. If I were Ole Miss, I wouldn't go hire a retread guy. I'd go get a Jeremy Pruitt, somebody like that. In the league, I think there's only 5 destination jobs. Some of them are obvious. I think Georgia's a destination job. You get me to Georgia, I got everything I need. I can win. I ain't going nowhere. You get me to Bama, you get me to Florida, you get me to LSU, you get me to actually I had 6. You get me to Auburn, you get me to Texas A&M, I'm good. I got everything I need. I got the recruiting background. I got the facilities. I've got money. I don't know if Tennessee is or not. I'm not sure about Tennessee. The rest of them, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Vandy, Missouri, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and I throw Tennessee in there now because of where you recruit. If somebody wants your coach, you ought to be happy. That means you made a good hire and you're doing well. The rest of those places are destination jobs. What's your destination jobs in the SEC?
Oh, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M, LSU, and Tennessee.
So Tennessee is a destination job. Why?
Because I think he has a tradition to win. If the right guy gets in there, he'll never leave. I also will say this, and so you can all laugh. I think for 3 years there, Butch Jones did the best he could. He had 3 big winning seasons. He did well. Not as well as he wanted to, but better than the average person thinks. All you hear now is when they're going to fire him, how they're going to fire him, who they're going to hire. I think the jury's still out whether they'll fire him or not. And I think he's done. I don't, his mannerisms are different. His trying to get the program up are different. His work ethic, I think, his selection of assistants may be questionable. And he may get fired. But I don't think the jury's still out that he's going to get fired. I don't gamble on games. I give scores and stuff, and been doing pretty darn good on it. If I was a gambler, I'd probably take Tennessee to 36 points.
Yeah, is it 36 now? I started out at 34. It's going to 36. James, is Tennessee? Is that? Dad, you always.
You were at Boeing in Tennessee.
I understand that, but you tell me all the time, where are you going to get your players if you're at Tennessee? I know that they had a good run, but East Tennessee, no players. State of Tennessee, average. What makes that a destination job other than the history of it? I guess that part does. They do have a great fan base. They tell me their facilities are second to none. So I guess I'm answering my own question. But what makes Tennessee a destination job, James?
Their passion for football is number one.
Yeah.
Their problem is back after if you categorized them, passion for football is on the left-hand side. That's number one. On the right-hand side, on whichever side, is their recruiting situation has to be smart. They have to go into Memphis, and they have to find the very best players with the very best grades and take whatever 2 or 3 they can get. It's not going to be a big number because Ole Miss and everybody goes in there, but they get what they can get because going from Memphis to Knoxville is like going through 3 states. They can go into Georgia and to Florida, and they got to be well-oiled, well-organized, good analysts in the office, finding out guys that can play and trying to fight for those guys. And I think you have to be double organized in recruiting to get to 25 that you feel like can win for you.
So if you were the athletic director at Tennessee, would you have the guts to go hire an assistant somewhere, Jeremy Pruitt or a guy at Oklahoma, or do you think you got to go get the guy that's going to win the press conference?
It would have to be a special assistant. I would agree with you. It would have to be. I think the defensive. I haven't only met him a couple of times, so I'm not trying to. I don't know him that well. But yeah, I think the defensive coordinator at Alabama is a special assistant. Now, why do I think that? Because he has been around the ideas of what to do to make a program successful. Kirby Smart has been around, was around, and was part of a program that, and you learn from the guys that you work for. And he was at Florida State, and they did it a little bit different. That's a reason I think that Jimbo Fisher is a better candidate for Alabama's job than Dabo. But that's just me. So I think you're right in that if it's a special assistant that his work ethic is great, he understands it, I say sure. Let the fans suck up their guts and learn to like him.
They don't like the guy you get from Cincinnati. They don't like him either.
There's no repercussions here. But are there repercussions tonight, Saturday night, if Ole Miss beats LSU?
When you say repercussions, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, are you going to see? You're not going to see repercussions, but you're going to see.
You'll see heat on Orgeron. They'll talk bad about it, but they can't.
I want you to say,
but they can't do anything to him. $12 million.
I know that, but I mean, my point is, it's kind of interesting. If LSU were to get beat by Ole Miss, it's a little bit heat. Yeah, you're right.
I think they could get beat by Ole Miss over there. James, is Tennessee a destination job?
I think for somebody that can recruit Atlanta, and as far as recruiting in the state of Tennessee, while y'all are correct as far as the historic nature of the lack of Division I talent in that state, look for Nashville to be a rising player as far as high school football recruiting, as far as Nashville just burgeoning as a city over the next about 5 to 10 years as far as the high school football recruiting scene in that state is concerned. But I think the right coach that can recruit Atlanta, can recruit nationally, I think can be a destination job. And I want to follow up as far as one of those assistants that, as far as Tennessee, you may want to look at and direct this at coach as far as role-playing yourself as Tennessee AD. Do you look at somebody like T. Martin that's rising as far as his profile as an offensive coordinator over at USC, and also that was a star Tennessee quarterback that won them their last national championship under Philip Fulmer? Let's just hypothetically say that Butch Jones gets fired before the end of the year is out. Is T. Martin somebody you would consider?
No, he's not. I think the USC program is totally different. You can if you can get past 2 stop signs, you find a prospect in L.A. If you get the highway, you just stop twice and you'll find one. I don't know a lot about T. Martin, know a little bit. I would say without really knowing exactly, I would not hire somebody from a USC program.
Would you hire, this is crazy, if Peyton Manning picked up the phone and called the athletic director and said, let me have that job. I'm tired of watching Tennessee be down. I'm going to come in there. I'm going to get a great quarterback. I'm going to tutor him. Let me have that job. The Manning family, how much Peyton Manning means to Tennessee. Would you give Peyton Manning that job if he wanted it?
Job is yours, but the buyout's going to be pretty. We don't need you here for 2 years. We don't need to get this thing started and get it dropped. We want you here. And I know buyouts don't really matter to you because you got more money than anybody in the world, but we need a significant buyout. And also, do you already have your mind made up as to how you're going to organize your recruiting? And do you have your mind made up about the assistant coaches that you're going to bring in, work ethic and loyalty and knowledge of Knoxville?
So you would hire Peyton Manning if he called you and convinced you that he wanted a job.
If I thought he understood exactly what I said, because it is not a pull your pudding job. It's not a NFL deal where you kind of waltz around and look at film and decide.
I don't think you have to worry about Peyton Manning being prepared. I think he's probably the most prepared guy. I think you got. You think that would jazz? So. You think that would jazz up that Tennessee fan base if they could hire Peyton Manning? I think it would. Let's talk to Max about it. Max, is Tennessee a destination job. I think there's 6 destination jobs in the SEC: Georgia, Bama, Florida, LSU, Auburn, and Texas A&M. Tennessee, I'm on the fence. The other schools, they ought to hope somebody wants their coach, because that means they made the right hire. Those are not destination jobs, in my opinion. Where does Tennessee fall in that?
Well, first of all, there's 2 or 3 others in there that the current people that are there, it's not going to be a destination job, Barry. They're going to have some changes in there.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying Ole Miss, when they go and hire a guy, they need to be realistic, and they need to hire a great assistant. And if he goes there and does well, he's probably going to leave because somebody's going to want him, because it's not a destination job. I don't think, personally.
I agree with that, but Tennessee used to be. They ended up with a bunch of debt. They're trying to, straighten that out until the football program gets straightened out. They're going to have some financial problems. They still do. But the fact is, they got a new chancellor. They got a new athletic director. I personally think they're going to probably have to change the football program to make it a destination job. Certainly, they've got all the attributes where they are. Location, they don't have to recruit the state. They can go to Nashville as far west as they need to go. They go to the East Coast. They go to Florida. They go to the Carolinas. They can get enough players. Some won one national championship and probably was contending for a couple others. But the fact it used to be, so what's the difference in it now other than administration? So, I think to answer your question, if I'm out there looking for a job, I certainly would consider that.
Yeah, I just don't know. With the recruiting base, I know it used to be. I don't know if it is. If they made a change, and I think Dad's right, I don't think it's 100% sure they will. We'll see how this thing ends up. Would you pick up the phone? Because I think this would create some buzz if you could pull it off, and you can call Peyton Manning and say, Peyton, look, this football program, we need you. We got to re-energize this program. You could sign the best quarterbacks in the country. You would create a buzz around here like never seen before. Tennessee needs you. Please come back and take this football program. Would you do that if you were Curry? And if Peyton Manning agreed to it and said he wanted it, you'd have to give it to him, right?
But there's a bunch of ifs in there. The guy's got $300-400 million.
I understand
Why
that.
Why would he want to go coach and put up with the crap you got to put up with?
He likes to compete.
Yeah, that ain't nothing to do with the competing with the alumni and administration and academics and all that stuff. That ain't got anything to do with the competition on the field.
I know, but I'm saying, would you hire him if you were the AD and he wanted it? If he wanted it,
if he wanted the job and said he would give you 100% of it, yes, certainly. Yeah. The name recognition alone would do that, but it takes 2 to make that work. I think you have to be realistic when you go after. Look at John Groom's not going there. Peyton Manning's not going there. They're going to have to find somebody, and I think they chose the right path before. When they went to Cincinnati, Central Michigan, that level, and and Butch Jones came there with with great credentials at that level. But the fact is, he's just not been able to put it together. And his recruiting classes have been fine. He's had 3 out of the last 5 in the top 10 in the country. But once they got on campus, something happened. There was a disconnect somewhere. And they aren't performing at the level of which they've been recruited to.
I think if I was the AD at Tennessee, I think I could convince Peyton Manning to come back. I think I could do it. I do. Dad, go ahead.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
And I would energize my fan base. I can tell you that for sure.
Oh, me. Well,
here's
for that, but I don't think it's realistic.